Hello everyone, welcome to another Classic Movie Monday. Apologize I had to delay this video. Unfortunately, I was pretty busy over the weekend and through through the beginning at least of this week, but I should be caught up by the end of today. So without further ado, let me address the film Dirty Harry, the 1971 film that is considered one of Clint Eastwood's best. This is the film that a lot of people recognize him for, and in particular, this sort of series of films, or at least I believe there are two. There might be more of the Dirty Harry kind of series of films, but Clint Eastwood in particular is known for his line, so do you feel lucky, you know, and what and you know, well, do you, punk, that kind of dialogue has been known. Or actually, I think he says, or do I feel lucky, well, do you, punk. That's, I think, the line, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. My brain is a little bit mush today, but regardless, within this series of films, in particular, we're just discussing the first film, if I'm not mistaken. Dirty Harry is the first of this sort of series. It follows a San Francisco inspector slash cop named Harry Callahan, who is played by none other than Clint Eastwood. And basically, he is assigned to a job to crack down on this crazy killer and basically a maniac who is threatening to murder people. And he basically calls himself the Scorpio Killer. And I guess initially the threat that he was making was that he ultimately wanted money. Otherwise, he was going to start going on a killing rampage. And apparently, he does this on rooftops. So it makes it a lot easier for him to take out his targets. And Harry is the guy who's planning to stop him at all costs, pretty much. Because what really works about this film is, in particular, not only Clint Eastwood's performance, which is really well crafted, but also the fact that Harry as a character is interesting. He's rebellious. He doesn't toe the line of the law in which the police department tries to follow. He kind of goes rogue in his own way. He's very anti-authoritarian, I guess you could say, and he is very sort of unsympathetic to criminals and to people who commit crimes. And this is actually interesting because not only does his character spark sort of a interesting way of thinking that is sort of outside of the box of the norm, but the film in general, when it came out, initially brought up all of these controversies involving police brutality and the way in which law enforcement handles crime and whatnot. And that's also something that I think is really important to note and understand, because it really brings to light the influence that the film has had over the years. And I think it's definitely safe to say that the rebellious nature that Dirty Harry has, I think, is somewhat understandable, especially when you consider the circumstances that he's in, as well as the nature of this particular killer, who is very psychotic and ruthless. And I would definitely recommend this film if you are interested in the action thriller genre, because it does provide you suspenseful moments. You ultimately want to know what happens within the story and how exactly Harry comes to somehow managing to get the bad guy. And it has sort of these little cliche elements that we, again, oftentimes see in these kinds of cop cop versus criminal type films. But what makes this film distinct is Harry's character and the fact that he is taking this sort of profession of being a cop to a whole different level than than a lot of other cop shows and cop films even do. It's to the point where Dirty Harry is he's very much on the side of being his own individual and sort of doing justice in his own unique way. And that's also something that's really interesting and distinct to get from this film as well. And you can definitely see why a lot of people really got interested and ultimately invested, and how it brought up a lot of interesting things that were, at least at the time, and maybe even sometimes maybe even considered today, controversial. But that's what film's ultimately supposed to do, bring up things that are controversial, and Dirty Harry definitely succeeds in that. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say about the film without really giving too much away. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.